by stabilizing it a little bit. And take your hands a little further apart. That's good, about good. And think about the top of your head pointing at the edge of the Bosu ball, the far edge. Just because down, 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 down. So bring your chin closer to your chest. Like there, that's it. Like you're diving into a pool. Okay? And from there,
Whoa.
I'll hold you. You tell me when you're, are you ready?
I think so.
Okay. So if you think about, oops, that's good. Lengthening out your toes, and pointing your head and lengthening your whole spine, then the balance is regulated by the shoulder blade muscles in this area that we just treated. Okay? So if you can actually come out of that, you don't have to like, struggle with it. So I'm going to add that back into your program because what I saw today was the involvement of that T3 through T5 area.
Exactly where is that?
Right through here.
Yeah.
This area.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
And it's right below that like right around in there, the sore line.
okay. All right, so I think, what I look for is the movement of energy through the body, and where movement is obstructed even in how you physically move. And so when I saw the restriction in here when you were doing some of the exercises, then I tested muscles that relate to this area, and it actually said that this is the problem area, that neurologically that's where the switch is down. So these exercises, so what I did along with the exercises will help keep that operating. So what I'd love from you, Jean, is just to hear, if you don't mind, like sitting on the ball and just telling me just a brief history. Okay. Unless, did you already do that on video for your your talk? Like this
She's
is my
gonna
history.
cover that in the talk.
Okay. So can I just get a quick, 5 or 10 minutes of your history,
Starting.
Like at what point did you figure?
Complicated.
Yeah. Just say where you are now. That what conditions occurred that you became aware that you have this cognitive impairment, that you really were given this diagnosis, the cause of it, that you were, had this pain about, and just that you noticed kind of from the age of 8 that you were inactive, and that just kind of, sort of getting your life, back now, or the life that you might have had. So just a little history would be great. I can kind of coach you. We can just sort of talk about it, so you're not feeling like you're so on the spot.
Well, no, it's not that. It's just trying to focus it enough that it's such a long story.
I think you can probably.
Now, what's the purpose of this? Maybe that'll help me.
Probably for the. I'd like you to put it together with some of the footage of us working together on the website, so that we can get at
for the website.
The website. So that I love the fact that you said there's nothing on your website that indicates that you work with anybody but elite athletes. So we want.
And so somebody could go on and understand what you're doing with me and
right.
why somebody would do that with cognitive impairment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. So I'll just let's try and make it just sort of more conversational, so that you're not like feeling like you're on the spot. So I'll just say, Jane, you presented me with really helpful thing for my website, pointing out that it looks like all I do is work with professional athletes. And the reality is that I work with so many types of people, from, absolutely top athletes to people that are disabled in wheelchairs with MS and things like that. And I asked Jane if she would share her story with us so that you could see that I'm working with people that aren't all elite athletes. So, Jane, when you first started doing this kind of doing Revolution in Motion, I guess you just got really lucky by finding Colin.
I did. It just the grace of God, serendipity, I just got led here, led to Colin.
Great.
Which is exactly the right place for me to be.
And what were you looking for when you wanted some fitness, or?
Well, let's go back a step. My medical history had been actually it's being very healthy, other than a few isolated incidents that had happened throughout my lifetime. That I got very heavy when I was 8. Went from a normal looking child to a very to an obese child in the 3rd grade, and it was all about being fat. And it turns out that was part of. It turns out I was. It's hard to know where to start in this. The bottom line is that I had a huge hole in my heart, and everybody's born with a hole in their heart. It's just that it's supposed to close when you take your first breath, and in some people it doesn't close all the way, and it will leave a gap, so that if that gap is open, when something's coming through the bloodstream, through the heart, it can go directly to the brain rather than going through the lungs and getting cleaned out. And it turns out that's what I had, but they did not discover this until I was 53. So I had a long history of these sporadic things, like being the obese child, and then I lost weight, and then seemed to be okay. And then when I was 15, I had a paralyzed vocal cord for 9 weeks. And that same year, I had an incident of aphasia where I went to say something to somebody and the words came out. I couldn't speak. And then, and that was just for a few minutes. And then in my 30s, I had another thing that caused them to try a new tool they had called an MRI, which was brand new and let them see things that they couldn't see with other tools, but they didn't know what they meant. And found a bunch of spots on my brain, and never came to a conclusion about what that was about. And between then and 53, I kept thinking, there's part of my brain that seems to be a lot slower at times than the rest of my brain, and I wanted to know what was wrong with me. And I heard some people talking about getting tested for ADD. And asked the doctor if I could have that test, and I went in and had it, did another MRI, called me in and said, this is at age 53, you don't have ADD, but you do have brain damage from multiple strokes. And that was the day my life took a different turn. They tracked that down to this congenital hole in my heart that was letting microdebris, they call it generically, go to my brain and cause mischief like strokes or TIAs, which are mini strokes, and God knows what else. And then in going into to plug that hole up, to repair the hole, something else happened, which there were complications in the surgery, and I ended up with permanent brain damage from whatever happened during that surgery. And again, it was kind of nebulous. The doctor